Nick's chapter on the discrimination that trans people face on a daily basis is enlightening because it grounds the reader in the cognitive processes and historical presumptions about people that most Americans carry around unconsciously. Nick's ideas throughout the book both inform and offer understanding, as well as setting up plenty of opportunities for deeper exploration for students or the enterprising, inquisitive reader. Transgender concepts and experience are still mystifying or even offensive to many people. But those who look below the surface to see the human beings affected by gender variance and the social systems that have led to and exacerbate the condition cannot help but be moved. With this book, Nick Teich's contribution toward the kind of understanding that is needed to build a world that is safe for transgender people goes far beyond the summer camp for transgender kids that he started in 2009. Yet that camp, as he modestly describes in his introduction, is literally saving the lives of both children and parents. When it comes to making a difference, Nick's inspirational efforts are worthy of commendation. Introduction: Why this book was written and how it is laid out. Why write this book? To paraphrase Renaissance philosopher Sir Francis Bacon, knowledge is power. Over the past several years, I have spent innumerable hours reading about, discussing, and teaching people on the subject of transgenderism. I have found that even the most educated people know little of the subject, through no fault of their own. I found it disheartening that my professors in social work school, many of them practicing therapists, knew little to nothing about trans people. I tried to think what I might know about the subject if I wasn't living it. Would I know anything? Some things? A lot? I find these questions difficult to answer, and it doesn't much matter. By writing Transgender 101, I've set out to educate people of all stripes about the basics of what it means to be a transgender person. There are many clinical textbooks, first-person accounts, and journal articles on different subjects surrounding transgenderism. But I found that a reasonably short, concise introduction to the topic, aimed at a wide audience, simply did not exist. If this book can help people better understand their transgender brethren, then that is all I can ask for. What led me to this topic? I was labeled female at birth. Though as a young child I constantly told people that I wanted to be a boy, and often blended in as one, it wasn't until after college and after a long struggle with a deep depression that I let the idea of transitioning from female to male take hold. Although this book is not an autobiography, there are highly personal reasons that led me to sit down and decide that I wanted to publish information about what it means to be transgender. In 2009, I started the world's first summer camp program dedicated to transgender youth, called Camp Aeronautic. It is presently a week-long camp where kids do what kids do at camp, an array of different daytime activities on land and water, campfires, playing capture the flag, singing silly songs, staying up late to talk with bunkmates. You get the picture. It's a place for trans youth to feel safe and normal. There aren't too many places like that for trans kids or adults, unfortunately. I've been a summer camp person all my life. I attended a camp in Maine where I subsequently became a counselor, spending a total of 13 summers there. I still go back often to visit. I always knew that I was very lucky to be able to go to camp. Though I may have presented as a boy, I was known as a girl. At camp, my gender seemed to melt away. I was just able to be me. After I entered the adult world and stopped going to camp for the full summer, I started spending 1 week in August volunteering at a charity-based summer camp. I loved doing it and became close with staff members who returned year after year. When I announced my impending gender transition to the staff of this camp, I was initially met with enthusiastic support, and I was relieved that my relationship would stay intact. However, in a complete change of attitude, months later the camp's director told me that I could not return, for the good of the kids. I was also told that the campers' parents would